It's November 29th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today and the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, so just sit back, relax, and let's dive on in because Saylor is back once again. And what is he doing? He's dropping signal level clarity, reminding everyone that Bitcoin doesn't negotiate with weak money, weak policy, or weak hands. He's pointing straight at the same truth he's hammered for years. Digital scarcity, what is it doing? Is tightening, and the world is drifting into a supply crunch without realizing it. Erme adds sharp macro context. Liquidity is shifting. Debt pressure is rising. The old system is wobbling in ways that will make Bitcoin look even stronger by comparison. Zinx is in full chart mode again. Clean consolidation. Supply is draining. Liquidity is building. And the kind of structure that usually precedes a decisive move. We're talking a calm surface with pressure underneath. Ash Crypto highlights the quiet institutional rotation that's already happening behind the scenes. Kobasi brings the macro heat with a warning about the global cracks that are forming in real time. And the Bitcoin therapist jumps in with a mindset check. We need to stay balanced, stay long-term, stay focused, while strategy keeps stacking, keeps signaling, and Bitcoin keeps coiling. So let's dive on into Michael Saylor, who says it is Black Friday, and that is black with a capital Bitcoin B. And that was, of course, yesterday. And hey, he knows that Bitcoin's on sale. Do you know that? Erme says the highest since April, except now it will take 50% longer to cover a short, which is 2 versus 1.35 days than it did in April. Translation, that's bullish. And I'm glad he gave us that translation because he wanted to share with us the MSTR short interest is now the highest it's been since April. Why is this bullish? Is called short squeeze time. Zinc says it's a good day for Metaplanet shareholders in the US. The run back up to $10 is going to be fun for Metaplanet. I wonder how many of you are still going to be on this ride to $100. I know I will be. And yes, a nice 10+% day for Metaplanet yesterday. That was a nice shot in the arm. I wish MSTR had done the same, but can't win them all, I guess. Ash Crypto says the Fed will be ending QT soon. Trump said he will keep stocks at all-time highs. December rate cut odds are going up. QE is starting in Q1 of 2026. The $2,000 stimulus checks will be sent on 2026, and you are still bearish? The Kobasi letter follows us up with Trump says he will be keeping stocks at record highs. $600 billion Magnificent Seven CapEx. Fed is cutting interest rates into 3% plus inflation. The global AI infrastructure spending is at $1 trillion per year. Fed is ending quantitative tightening in 2 days. The U.S. deficit is at greater than 6% of U.S. GDP. NVIDIA is larger than all but 5 national stock markets. Record corporate buybacks of $1.2 trillion coming in 2026. Trump says he will completely cut income taxes. Trump promising $2,000 stimulus checks. How can you fight this momentum? I'm not. I'm along for the ride. Erme wanted us to know that the Metaplanet MNAV is almost back up to 1. I mean, wow. It was a gift when it was like a 0.86. I gobbled a bunch of that stuff up. Thank you. MSTR is at 1.14. The MNAV is 1.43. Sorry, the MSTR MNAV is 1.14, and then Assist MNAV is 1.43. As the Bitcoin treasury companies keep on stacking. Ash Crypto says over $15 billion worth of short positions will get liquidated if Bitcoin hits just 112,000. I mean, look at that line of shorts right there. Oh, let's go. It's yummy for somebody. Strategy Strife product should have a higher credit rating than a French bond. Let's do a comparison. A 10-year bond offered by France currently pays 3.15%. Strife currently pays 9.54%. France has a debt to GDP ratio at 113%, trillions of dollars in unfunded liabilities. Strategy has an amplification of 27%, and Strife has a Bitcoin rating of 6.3x. The S&P gave France a credit rating of an A+. What a joke. The S&P gave Strategy a credit rating of a B-. The world does not know how to price risk because they do not understand Bitcoin. The next few years will offer a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make a lot of money understanding this mispricing. If base rates continue to drop, expect the price of Strategy prefers to skyrocket and for the effective yields to come down. Strategy is already more solvent than most nation states. This is not priced in. The Bitcoin therapist wants us to know that Max Payne is a 66% drawdown. Then MSTR gets S&P inclusion. There would be pandemonium. The market would go absolutely crazy. MMs would get an incredible price entry. Kit analysts would have sold their bags. Never doubt the incentives of TradFi. So basically, what he's saying is that expect the unexpected. Now, of course, strategy did not get into the S&P 500 this round. So in 3 months, we'll find out again. So Metaplanet's now trading back to a 1 MNAV. You get to buy Bitcoin plus an entire company and team for free. It's too early to tell, but it feels like we have finally reached the bottom for Bitcoin and Bitcoin treasuries. Let's hope it continues. Bullish on Metaplanet, as am I. And now we have Michael Saylor, who's going to be dropping value bombs on the Schwab interview. And let's sit back, relax, and enjoy.
And your currency's lost 99.9% of its value over 100 years. The US dollar has debased 7% a year on average for 100 years. So you're probably smart enough, if you're wealthy and a skeptic, to know that you shouldn't store your family's assets in cash dollar bills. You're probably smart enough. You're privileged enough to be able to invest in US real estate and US equities, because that wouldn't work in any African real estate or any African equity, right? Or any North Korean equity or et cetera, any Chinese equity. Wouldn't work in Japanese equities either, right? In fact, I could go on and on and on. So you're a privileged person that happens to be rich or happens to have money that's invested in the world's most secure assets in the US. But Bitcoin is digital capital, and it's for everybody else in the world that wasn't as privileged as you. For them, it's the difference between 7 billion people living in destitution and 7 billion people having hope. And so Bitcoin is an idea whose time has come. If you're one of those people, right, you're going to cling to it like a diabetic would cling to insulin, right? Before Bitcoin, everybody in the world is a type 1 diabetic. They cannot store economic energy, right? So if you're in that situation, that is life-affirming for you. It's not a laughing matter. That's why people are so passionate about it. But let's say it's not. You're not one of those people. You happen to be one of the 500 million or a billion elite that lives in a very comfortable environment. It just happens to be the best idea for you. It's the ultimate alternative investment. It's an asset uncorrelated to a currency, uncorrelated to any nation state. It's not an equity. It doesn't have counterparty risk. So the reason you ought to look at it's the most valuable real estate property. It's basically buying a piece of cyberspace. And if you had a chance to buy an acre of Manhattan in the year 1700, you would have been paying top dollar for it. And then every decade for the next 300 years, someone would pay more. And at what point did buying land in Manhattan ever become a bad idea? It's still a good idea. And Bitcoin is cyber Manhattan. It's one day, 8 billion people want to put their money there, and there's only 21 million blocks. That's 276 by 276 by 276. You can't make any more of it. So
Senator Cynthia Lummis recently announced that funding for a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve can start anytime. This is a massive step forward for a strategic crypto stockpile, and no surprise, was soon followed by a new all-time high for Bitcoin. If you're looking to buy more Bitcoin, BitIRA can help. In fact, BitIRA will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into Bitcoin. This also allows you to buy Bitcoin using pre-tax funds, then continue to invest in it over time as you do any other retirement account. And if you want, you can even add XRP, Ethereum, or other cryptos. BitIRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and is registered with the US government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Think about this. In March, President Trump signed an executive order for the Treasury to manage 200,000 Bitcoin as the foundation for a reserve. That's just the foundation. Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin. Fire Nation, when you want more for your business, more privacy, more guidance, more success, it all starts with Northwest Registered Agents. These legends have been helping entrepreneurs launch and grow their businesses for nearly 30 years. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in the U.S. with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your state's laws and actually care about helping you win. With Northwest, you can build your complete business identity, everything from what your customers see to what they don't, operating agreements, meeting minutes, finance, compliance paperwork, and more. You'll get thousands of free resources, lawyer-drafted forms, and step-by-step guides all in one place, and you don't even need to create an account to access them. Best part, privacy is automatic. Northwest never sells your data and handles everything in-house. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free.
Our view is it's just a good idea. It's the best idea for a conventional investor, but it's a life-saving idea for the rest of the world.
I like that. Cyber Manhattan. It's almost like a monopoly board, but for crypto. Just on a lighter note, Michael, who are your role models in the financial world?
I think that the people that are inspirational are the industrialists that took a technology and they commercialized a product and gave it to the world. So, you got John D. Rockefeller came along, looked at crude oil and extracted kerosene and eventually extracted gasoline and diesel, right? And we heated our homes and lit our houses, but eventually we ran our cars and our jets and our rockets, right? Kerosene is rocket fuel and jet fuel. And then, take Henry Ford, right? He took a fire and an explosion, explosives in a fire, put it into an engine, wrapped it onto a carriage, and gave everybody an automobile. And he basically gave everybody the ability to travel 100 times as fast and safely. And, history books are full of people that died because they had to walk 100 miles in order to get from here to there, and they caught pneumonia. So Ford gave mobility to the world. I think I could go on with Boeing, and you could look at the iPhone and the radio and the telegraph, and you can look at the development of penicillin, antibiotics, and the like. But I think that and if you look at Bitcoin right now, right? So Bitcoin is this scary, explosive crypto thing. People are afraid it's going to blow them up or it's going to hurt them. Right? What we're doing right now, the thing I'm most excited about, our iPhone moment, is Stretch, STRC, because Stretch it's a high yield bank account. I want my money to generate 10% tax deferred income forever. Where are all the moving parts? There's no moving parts. What's the product? Comfortable retirement. Well, what's the alternative? Well, 2 or 3%. So you're just going to give me 5 times more money. What do I got to do? Well, what do you got to do to drive a car? Well, believe in the engine. What do you got to do to fly in an airplane? Believe in the plane and the pilot. What do you got to do to get 5 times more than your bank's offering? Believe in Bitcoin and then this issuer strategy. So our job is to get people to trust us and then give them a comfortable retirement or just give them money, right? We're in essence selling money by using digital technology to double or triple someone's yields.
We've covered a lot of ground. Do you want to leave us with a final thought?
2025 is the first year of institutional adoption of digital assets. So if everything that I'm saying sounds new or scary or novel or you never heard it before, that's because 12 months ago, Donald Trump hadn't won the election. And 12 months ago, your bank would have been shut down had they even tried to suggest this to you. So we are living at a very special period where it's just like in 1902, every learned person would have given you 100 reasons why human beings will never fly. And in 1904, it was obvious that we were going to fly because we flew in 1903, right? And so we're like 1904 for a digital asset. It's pretty obvious, right? The president's told you it's a commodity. The cabinet's told you. The head of the treasury's told you. All the banks are moving. But the way it works is the traditional finance world is going to take 10 years. Like Vanguard's going to tell you, well, we're afraid of crypto assets. Don't buy it. But, Vanguard's my biggest investor, right? Passively. But actively, right, even though they're the biggest investor in my company, actively, they haven't quite got around to processing the fact that, I guess, the digital form of everything is 100 times better than the analog form. Digital photos, You had Kodak, then you had Apple, right? Digital books, digital gold, digital video, digital whatever. We're living through the digital transformation of the capital markets, and people weren't sure that was going to happen a year ago, but now they're happening, and you've got a 10-year digital gold rush. And so the beauty is you can make a lot of money if you are willing to do the work. If you're willing to do the research and spend 10 hours thinking about this or 100 hours, well, you can buy Bitcoin for a 99% discount. If you wait until the year 2035, your bank's going to tell you, yeah, it's easy, we all support it, it's good, we'll borrow against it. Then you're going to pay 10x more. And if you wait until the conventional wisdom is this is the world's greatest asset class, well, it's going to be $10 million coin, and you're going to pay 100 times more. And so you're living through a technology transformation where you get a massive discount and you get paid a lot if you think for yourself and if you do the research and you come to a conviction over this issue. And I couldn't have said that 2 years ago. 2 years ago or 6 years ago, we need the president of the United States to endorse it. But if we don't get that, then you've got a different future. So this is a special year, and there are special opportunities. And I would encourage everybody to focus on it and come to their own conclusions, because it's the most auspicious development in the capital markets in my lifetime.
And there's some irony in there. I like it. Exciting times. Michael Saylor, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the second best? There is no second best.